and welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzom. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Tuesday, the 11th of August. Indian Prime Minister Modi holds COVID-19 review meeting with chief ministers. Pakistani court indicts former President Zardari in Parkland corruption case. And Nepal hospitals face shortage of beds, ventilators amid surge in COVID-19 cases. And now for all the details. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday interacted with chief ministers of 10 states and reviewed the COVID-19 situation in the country and further measures required to check its spread. He said that there is a need to increase coronavirus testing in states where the testing rate is low and the positivity rate is high. At least 50,000 new cases have been reported in India every day since 30th of July. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday held a video conference meeting with chief ministers of various states to discuss the situation arising out of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is the 7th video conference of the Prime Minister with the states since the outbreak of the pandemic and the announcement of the first lockdown in March. Prime Minister Modi said there is need to increase coronavirus testing in states where the testing rate is low and the positivity rate is high. He asserted the most effective weapon against coronavirus is containment, contact tracing and surveillance.
हमारे यहाँ एवरेज फर्टिलिटी रेट पहले भी दुनिया के मुकाबले काफी कम था। संतोष की बात है कि ये लगातार और कम हो रहा है। एक्टिव केसेस का प्रतिशत कम हुआ है। रिकवरी रेट लगातार बढ़ता जा रहा है, सुधरता जा रहा है। तो इसका अर्थ ये है कि हमारे प्रयास कारगर सिद्ध हो रहे हैं।
With more than 2.2 million confirmed infections in the pandemic, India has fewer cases than only the United States and Brazil. Meanwhile, former Indian President Pranab Mukherjee was put on ventilator support after undergoing surgery in New Delhi, having contracted COVID-19, local media reported on Tuesday. The reports on 84-year-old Mukherjee came as Health Ministry once again reported a daily increase of more than 50,000 cases in the coronavirus outbreak. At least 50,000 new cases have been reported in the world's second most populous country every day since July 30. In news from Pakistan, Pakistan's former President Asif Ali Zardari and 5 others were indicted by an accountability court on Monday in connection with the Parkland corruption case. As per the indictment, Zardari influenced relevant authorities to release loans to front companies during his term as the president.
An accountability court on Monday indicted Pakistan's former President Asif Ali Zardari and 5 others in connection with the Park Lane corruption case. Zardari appeared before the court via video link from his residence in Karachi city in the absence of his lawyers. As per the indictment, Zardari influenced relevant authorities to release loans to front companies during his term as president. With a malified intention, he allegedly got a loan of rupees 1.5 billion for his front company, and the amount was transferred for his personal use through fake accounts. The National Accountability Bureau has accused Zardari of causing the National Exchequer a loss of rupees 3.77 billion through fake bank accounts. The former president pleaded not guilty and the trial will continue, according to local media reports.
Moving on. A trader who was allegedly beaten up by police over false charges of theft has once again highlighted cases of torture and impunity in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. Human rights activists have long raised concerns that people in the illegally occupied region are denied basic fundamental rights and are meted out with severe brutalities for voicing their concerns. A trader who was allegedly beaten up by police over false charges in Pakistan-administered Kashmir has once again highlighted cases of torture and impunity in the illegally occupied region. The trader named Raja Fahim from Chinari area said He was tortured for holding a press conference against senior police officials for framing false charges of theft and attempt to suicide against him. He said he bought a cow worth rupees 50,000, which he gave to someone else, but the cops accused him of stealing it and beat him up.
और मैंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस कर दी थी तो इन्होंने इस वजह से मेरे ऊपर हमला कर दिया और मुझे शदीद ज़ख्मी किया, तशद्दुद का निशाना बनाया और पुलिस जब वकला ने मुझे छुड़ाया और अस्पताल ले गए, तकरीबन वहाँ पे हम 1-2 घंटा रहे। वहाँ पे कोई बात ऐसी नहीं चली, पुलिस छुपती रही और वीडियो बनाने वाले लोगों को ये रोकते रहे और
This is not the first time. Activists have long raised concerns over the ill treatment of people belonging to Pakistan-administered Kashmir. They blame the people of the illegally occupied region are denied basic fundamental rights and are meted out with severe brutality for voicing their concerns. In news from Afghanistan, even months after the power-sharing agreement was signed between President Ashraf Ghani and Abdullah Abdullah to end the political deadlock following last year's presidential election, the cabinet still has empty positions. The Afghan presidential palace has said that Abdullah Abdullah, chairman of the High Council for Reconciliation, was yet to introduce his nominated ministers for the new cabinet.
Afghan Presidential Palace said Monday that Abdullah Abdullah, chairman of the High Council for Reconciliation, has yet to introduce his nominated ministers for the new cabinet. Afghan President Ashraf Ghani's deputy spokesman Dawa Khan Manapal said nominees for ministers must meet the criteria for being a minister so that the president can send them to the National Assembly for a vote of confidence. However, Fredun Khazun, spokesman for Abdullah Abdullah, said that they have sent their nominee list to the presidential palace. In May, a power-sharing agreement was signed between Ghani and Abdullah to end the political deadlock following last year's presidential election. Even months after the agreement, the cabinet still has empty positions. Based on the agreement, Abdullah will head the High Council for National Reconciliation and will be able to have his picks in 50% of the cabinet. But reports have surfaced there exists dispute over the nomination of the minister for the Ministry of State for Peace, where both haven't come on a common ground over the candidate. Differences between Ghani and Abdullah is said to be as one of the main reasons for the delay with the cabinet.
More on news from Afghanistan. Afghanistan reported 56 new COVID-19 cases on Monday, bringing the total tally to 37,162 cases, the country's health ministry said. 7 COVID-19 patients succumbed to the virus, taking the number of people who lost their lives to 1,328 since the outbreak of the pandemic in February. The number of people recovered stands at 26,228. Meanwhile, the World Bank approved 2 grants totaling $210 million from the International Development Association as part of a larger financial package of $380 million to help Afghanistan. The aim of the package is to help Afghanistan cushion the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on Afghan households, support critical food supply chains, and provide emergency support to farmers. In news from Nepal, state-run hospitals are facing a shortage of beds and ventilators for coronavirus patients in Nepal as the number of cases continue to rise in the country. With government hospitals already full and that they lack beds to admit new patients, the Health Ministry has now decided to direct all community and private hospitals to reserve 20% beds for coronavirus patients.
As COVID-19 cases continue to rise at an alarming rate throughout the country, Nepal's Health Ministry has decided to direct all community and private hospitals to reserve 20% beds for coronavirus patients. This comes amid authorities' warnings that government hospitals are already full and that they lack beds to admit new patients. Dozens of infected people are currently at their homes in Kathmandu Valley as well as in Birganj due to lack of beds in state-run hospitals. The Himalayan nation had enforced a nationwide lockdown in March to curb the spread of the virus. However, with the easing of curbs in Kathmandu city, more people are coming to the capital. That has led to a rise in the number of coronavirus cases. In such a scenario, with low number of beds in the hospitals, the patients with mild symptoms are being advised to quarantine themselves at home.
भोलिको दिनमा जुन यो अब यो संक्रमितको संख्या धेरै नै भयो भने जसरी हामीभन्दा धेरै शक्तिशाली र क्षमतावान राष्ट्रहरू पनि आज कोरोनादेखि हार खाइरहनु पर्ने अवस्था आएको छ। उहाँहरूले यस्ता सङ्क्रमित व्यक्तिहरूलाई पनि अस्पतालमा भर्ना गर्न चाहिँ सक्नु भएको छैन। थुप्रै नेपालीहरू पनि अहिले पनि PCR पोजिटिभ भए पनि विदेशमा आफ्नै कोठामा बसेर चाहिँ आराम गरिरहेको अवस्था छ।
Meanwhile, Nepal's cabinet meeting held Monday decided to resume flight operations from September 1st instead of August 17. So far, Nepal has reported 22,972 infections with 75 deaths from the disease.
India's largest crocodile park in southern state of Tamil Nadu could run out of funds in 4 months amid coronavirus pandemic, officials in charge of the park have said. Amid preventive lockdowns, no visitors have been allowed since March, making it difficult to feed the reptiles and pay staff salaries.
India's largest crocodile park could run out of funds in 4 months. Officials in charge of the park say as lockdowns to stem coronavirus spread continues in the southern city of Chennai. The Madras Crocodile Bank Trust and Centre for Herpetology, located about 40 kilometers from Chennai, gets about 5 million visitors a year, and ticket sales account for 50% of their revenue. But no visitors have been allowed since March 16, and there will be no visitors for the foreseeable future. Authorities said they have been asking for donations and are mulling creating videos that would perhaps garner hits online to generate income to feed the reptiles and pay staff salaries.
So keeping the current scenario in mind, we are actually not expecting substantial income from ticket revenues. So we have actually started to raise funds to make sure that we are able to see through this entire year.
The park, the biggest crocodile sanctuary in India and one of Asia's largest, is home to over 2,000 crocodiles and alligators, and looking after them is not an easy task, especially with some staff under quarantine for the virus. The park was founded by prominent herpetologist Romulus Whittaker in 1976 and has bred over 5,000 crocodiles since its inception. It is currently home to 14 of the 23 existing species of crocodiles, 3 of which are endangered.
Hindu devotees across India offered prayers at temples on Tuesday to mark the birth anniversary of Lord Krishna amid coronavirus restrictions. Meanwhile, in neighbouring Nepal, devotees expressed dismay on the occasion as places of worship still remain closed due to fears of virus spread. Devotees across India offered prayers at temples on Tuesday to mark Janmashtami, the birth anniversary of Hindu Lord Krishna amid the coronavirus pandemic. According to Hindu texts, Lord Krishna took birth in human form to kill his maternal uncle Kans, the demon king of Mathura city. This year, very few devotees turned up at temples to pray and sing devotional songs on the occasion as coronavirus pandemic seemed to have taken off the lustre of the festival. Although religious places across India have opened with preventive measures, large public gatherings are still not allowed.
मन की आस्था से आए हैं, दर्शन करके जाएंगे। घर पे पूजा वूजा किए हैं तो यहाँ पे बस आके माथा टेक के जा रहे हैं और दिन भर का वही फास्टिंग और फल फ्रूट वगैरह खा के दिन का गुजारा करेंगे और क्या।
Meanwhile, in neighbouring Nepal, devotees in capital Kathmandu thronged the courtyard of famous Patan Darbar Square, which hosts a Krishna temple, despite notice about closure for the day in the wake of coronavirus. Krishna Janmashtami usually draws thousands of devotees from Kathmandu Valley to the UNESCO World Heritage Site, which once used to house kings before unification of Nepal. The devotees were forced to pray and carry out rituals outside the temple to mark the occasion. Many of them expressed dismay over the closed doors of the temple. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.